Okay, welcome everybody to Meaningful Monday. Tonight we really have a lot of people on, so I really honor you and I thank you for joining. I also want to commend you for taking the time out for your own personal growth and development. Not everybody does that, and it shows in people's results, so well done to you for joining. Just for the people that are new, there are quite a few new people tonight. Meaningful Monday's main purpose is to discuss a meaningful topic. They vary across the board. Some are very different to others, but the purpose is really just to raise awareness, to help everyone understand that we do create our own reality, and we're doing it every second of the day, whether we're aware of it or not. This is just to raise awareness so that we do actually do it with awareness and kind of determine our own future. Okay, someone said I came across you through RTD Google search. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for answering. Thank you, Vanessa. And thank you, Kartik, for YouTube. All right, so welcome, everyone. So tonight's topic is the invaluable laws of growth, and I've taken two laws out of John Maxwell's best-selling book. This is one of his international best-selling books of all time, called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. It is such a fantastic book, and the reason I chose it is that every single person is unique, and every single person is on a different life journey, and everyone's at a different stage of growth in their life and a different stage of yearning or ambition. Everyone's unique. However, do you think that any of you that are sitting here tonight have reached your absolute maximum potential yet? I would say, if you're honest with yourself, the answer is definitely no. I sure haven't, and I don't think anyone living has reached their maximum potential, because Abraham Maslow proved that our potential is unlimited. And if you think about that, it means that as long as we continue to grow and develop ourselves, the potential for our lives to improve is absolutely unlimited. What it requires, though, is change. And most people, almost all people, are resistant to change. So we try to avoid change and always look to accomplish kind of the next step so that we can calm down, relax, and settle and not stress anymore in life. But life doesn't really work that way. And the sooner that we understand that we never should ever wish to settle, because once we choose to settle, life becomes more and more difficult. Once we choose to settle, life becomes full of challenges, it becomes painful, it becomes exhausting, it becomes very stressful. And that's the purpose of tonight, is to just really raise that awareness. If you want to have a fantastic life and find life actually easy and almost like a blessing, then you need to be on the other side of the line of comfort, which is growing. And that's what's nice about all about growth. So if anyone asks the question, do you want to be better tomorrow than you are today? And that's not you only as a person, but do you want your life to be better tomorrow than what it is today? And everyone will probably say yes. The only way to have a better life tomorrow than what you have today, and I mean this, the only way is if you are growing actively today. And actively means you're intentional about personal growth, you're engaged either with a coach or in a course, or you're doing some personal development training of some kind, or perhaps you're in a mastermind, or you've got a mentor in your life that you catch up with regularly. Something like that. If you're not actively in something like that all the time, you have no guarantee that your life will be better tomorrow. Also, I also will not be able to cover every aspect of personal growth in this 1 hour webinar tonight. There is so much on personal growth. It's mind-boggling, and it's as infinite as all of our potential. Because as long as we have potential to keep growing, what we can learn about personal growth just keeps growing as well. But what I can tell you is you put it into a Google search and you'll come up with 45 million entries if you just Google personal growth. So there's a lot out there. The good news is what I'm sharing with you tonight from this book of John Maxwell is the fact that John Maxwell is one of the top personal growth gurus in the world. He's the world's #1 leadership author and speaker, and leadership is also about personal growth, but when it comes specifically to personal growth, he's got to be one of the leading gurus in the world on all aspects of personal growth. So I'm very confident that the information I'm going to share with you tonight will be of great value. All right, so let's jump in. Tonight, this book about the 15 laws of growth obviously has 15 laws, and for the value of 1 hour, we'll only be able to get through 2. So I'm going to be discussing, and they're not in any particular order. These are randomly selected out of the middle of the book. The one is chapter 8, and the other one's, I think, chapter 10. So the first one is the law of pain, and the next one is the law of the rubber band. So these two are really very important aspects for personal growth, because the law of pain kind of tells us that we're all going to experience growing pains. We're all going to have significant life lessons, and each of those are just going to require some form of pain management. In your own life, you're going to come up against obstacles, whether that's in the death of a loved one, a total disruption in your career or work life, a breakup in a relationship, whatever it may be. That's pain, that's difficulty, and we do need to learn pain management. Now, it's not what we have to face in life, it's how we face it, how we handle these painful moments really determines our growth or lack of growth. And if we don't grow, we really become diminished, lose our self-confidence, and become resentful and bitter about everything. The circumstance that's affecting us, we become resentful and bitter. On the other hand, if we choose to handle the pain management in a way that I'm going to share with you tonight, and hopefully give you hope to improve your circumstances in your future, regardless of the tough situation that you could face, whether it's now or something that will happen in the future, at least you know for certain your life will improve because of the pain. Not just you will manage it well, you'll actually improve. So in the law of the rubber band, in order for you to grow to your full potential, it requires you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. So that's the second law. And stretching, if you think about sport as an analogy, stretching grows your athletic muscles. In the same way that personal development can also be a muscle, and you could also grow that muscle. And the more we develop our personal growth and the more we get familiar with it, and it becomes actually a way of life, you will find that those people are not only the most successful people, but they are the happiest people, and they are truly thriving. The people who avoid change and avoid getting out their comfort zone find that life for them is all about surviving and crisis management. And that's not a way to live, because it's very stressful, it will age you, and it's not an enjoyable experience at all. So I'm here to offer some help in that regard, hopefully, through this tonight. All right, so let's have a look at the law of pain. It says here, good management of bad experiences leads not just to growth, but to great growth. Now, of course, this determines on the actual management itself. Now, the truth is, when it comes to bad experiences or pain, let's talk about problems. Problems, big problems. Everyone has them. And nobody likes them. This is true. And the way to describe it is, some days you the pigeon, and some days you the statue. So it happens to every person, and as I said, no one likes it. So pain is actually something that naturally, intrinsically in human beings, we try to avoid. I'll just say, who here loves pain? I bet you nobody. Who here likes pain, whether that's physical, emotional, or mental pain? Probably no one. So what about I kind of like it, I sort of like it, I wouldn't mind a bad experience or two? No, I don't think anyone, we can safely conclude that naturally none of us like pain. So when it comes to a difficult situation that's challenging or painful, how do you usually respond? I want you just to ask a question for yourself. If you've got a pen and paper handy, write the question down. If you write the answer tonight, great. If otherwise, look at it later. But how do you usually respond to bad experiences? Do you explode in anger? Do you shrink into yourself emotionally? Do you detach yourself from the experience as much as possible? Do you detach from people and, close yourself off and become quiet and don't interact much because you're going through a difficult time? Or do you try to ignore it and try and get your head off it as much as possible? So it's just interesting to know. Or do you do something totally different about choosing to grow from it? And I'll take you through some of those. Now, as I said earlier, how people manage their problems or manage difficult and challenging situations determines whether they go in the fork in the road. And the fork in the road is, one road is surviving, and the other fork in the road, the other direction, is thriving. And whether you thrive or survive depends on how you manage your problems. And this topic alone, which is one chapter in this book, is actually an entire book written by John Maxwell called Failing Forward, which I was blessed to read in about 1995, I think. And it honestly changed my life. And I hope that what I'm sharing with you may not change your whole life, but can certainly help if you're having any difficult situations. If you change your viewpoint on it, you won't struggle as much, because it really helped me. I used to try avoid making mistakes. I thought making mistakes was failure. I thought I always had to get it right, that kind of thing. And when I started to read the book and understand the opportunity for growth, improvement, and making my life better can only come through taking more risks, making more mistakes, and having an accelerated learning process, that my life improved. Because before that, I only wanted to do what was safe and to make sure that I would be successful and not fail. And that's not a way to live, because when you stay so cautious and comfortable, life keeps on giving you what I call a cosmic slap. It might not happen every year, but it certainly will come up at some point and slap you. It's like there's a saying that says, if you don't follow the guidance of the feather, like brushing your cheek, like go in that direction, then you'll be whacked by the 4x4 or whacked by a cosmic slap. And that really comes from people who don't grow, because people who are continuously growing are becoming more and more resilient, and they're more and more adaptable and more flexible, and they are better at problem solving, because when you do personal growth all the time, the way your mind is used and wired and exercised through any personal growth, you actually create the ability to be more creative, and people who are more creative are better at problem solving. This is a great saying: every problem introduces a person to himself. James Allen uses the expression, circumstances don't make a man, they reveal him to himself. And this is the benefit of difficult situations or problems. You know, each time we encounter a painful experience, we get to know ourselves a little bit better. Now, pain can either stop us in our tracks and cause us to get stuck and unhappy, and as I say, more resentful and angry, or it can cause us to make decisions that we would generally put off. So it pushes us into the decision-making process. It may also cause us to deal with issues that we would rather not face. However, they would be necessary for us to deal with. So it kind of brings that forward in our lives. And it also may cause us to make changes. And that can make us very uncomfortable. So pain or problems can do all these things, but every single one of them, except not doing anything, has a benefit. And the benefit is it helps us to understand the person that we are, who we are, and where we are in our life. Now, what we do with a problem experience or a challenging situation, what we actually do with it will define who you become. So if you're making notes, I want you to write the word become as a massive bridge between where you are now, which is here, and where you want to be in your life is called there. So if I'm in a place called here, and I have a goal to have a better life and achieve this on a relationship level, career level, financial level, spiritual level, money and time, freedom level, whatever, any one of those kind of things. If I'm here and I have that place called there where I want to get to, the bridge to get there is the word become. It's not what you get. You cannot get or manifest any goal without changing as a person, because if you could, you would have got it already. And the purpose of a goal is not what you get at the end. The purpose of a goal is who you become as a person, as a character, to be able to manifest that goal down the line. So problems are really opportunities for us to come to know ourselves better, who we are in our life and where we are in our life, and it offers us a whole lot of choices, and now's the time for anyone in this situation to make those choices, and these choices define you, and these choices determine your success, failure, happiness, or unhappiness. So, as I said, everyone has bad experiences. Some of us avoid them. Some of us deal with them. And others embrace them. And these are leaders. And when I say leaders, I don't mean that you're a manager of a team and you've got people reporting to you. I'm saying you're leaders as in you're a person who models behavior for others. You're a person who has influence amongst people around you, whether that's at home, your community, your family, or your work. You don't have to be the boss to be the leader. That's a title. The boss is a title, and then that's a position, and I'm not talking about that. When I talk about leadership, I'm talking about the ability to influence people and to role model behavior for them. So people who embrace bad experiences, when I say embrace, not that you can love them. I'm not saying that at all. It's that you're open to them, knowing there's something to learn, there's an opportunity for you to grow, and through that to improve and actually make your life and also the lives of others better around you. So life's difficulties do move us. Which direction they move us in can either be backwards or forwards. And that's the choice we're going to talk about here. So we can either become bitter with resentment and anger about all the bad things that are going on, or with the right mindset, which I'm hoping for all of you, is to become better. Not bitter, but better. So learning the law of pain is really essential for anyone who wants to grow. And I'm sure you understand the benefit of growing, because if we don't grow, life is very difficult and very painful and very unhappy. Now, most successful people will actually mention hard times in their life as those key turning points for them on their journey to success or on their journey to self-development. If I speak for my own life, the worst time of my life became my greatest blessing. It's a program I teach today called the Silver Method. If I never had the worst time of my life, I would have never gone, desperately searching for answers to help improve my life. And I stumbled across the Silver Method. I did the program, changed my life phenomenally, so much so it was just a dream and an honor to become the person who could train it in Australia. So that shows how difficult time can introduce you to a good opportunity. And you'll find that most successful people will tell you, my turning point was this rock bottom place. When I lost my younger brother in 2012, he was only 21, he drowned and died suddenly from an epileptic fit. That was another very bad experience, but it was a key turning point in my life because it led me to find my life purpose. I wanted to know what was the purpose of my life after losing him. I couldn't understand. It just brought me to an awakening. So in saying that, the point I'm making is it doesn't have to be a big thing like losing someone that close to you or being the worst time of your life. every small problem experience can be a small notch up key turning point towards your success. So when we look at the invaluable laws of growth, the law of pain, when we have to learn about it, John Maxwell talks about something called pain files. He's saying that in our life, all the painful experiences we ever have, we file them in our mind somewhere. And he just pulled out of his own life a couple of examples. He's got like 15 to 20 of them in the book. I just put 4 here. But in terms of pain files, the one was the pain of incompetence. It was when he was in his very first job, and he didn't really know much about anything and expected everything to be really easy. And he said he did a lot of counseling early in his career, and he was terrible at it. So it forced him to reevaluate his gifting. And when he only started to equip people with leadership, that he found his strength zone. So it was incompetence that was a painful experience, but it was also that pain file. If he looks back and reflects now, it guided him to find his best gifts, which is actually developing leaders and not counseling at all. There's another one of financial loss. Financial loss can be a massive, painful thing, and we say, if only I could get that back. However, what it does for many people is you become better at decision making. You can become better at investing. It helps you make better decisions with risk taking. It helps you assess opportunities better. When I bought my first investment property in Australia, it wasn't a good decision, and I kept it for 6 years. Built a brand new house on a house and land package, sold it at a loss 6 years later. But it was the best learning experience, and I would never want to reverse that and have avoided it, because I learned so much, and I sell investment property today. That experience has taught me firsthand what someone would get it in a university degree. So it was worth every cent, and I don't regret it. So there's another example of turning a loss into a gain. The next one, the pain of not being number one. John Maxwell talks about taking over on some church that he took over, and the people were in love with the previous leader, and he could never be the one that they loved so much. So he was never going to be the number one. And to blame, just have it, I would be at the top if it wasn't for this or wasn't for that. No, he really had to learn that for some people, he was never going to be loved and respected as much as that other person was. And the good thing about that is it taught him humility, and it taught him to earn people's respect as opposed to expect it. So that was also a learning for him, and it wasn't comfortable at the time. The other one was the pain of change. And when that was about changing organizations, like even changing companies for people or changing jobs, there's an element of pain in change, because there's a massive new learning curve to adapt to a new environment, and you have to kind of start over. But the beauty is it affords you many new opportunities, and the opportunities are not just the opportunities that are in your road for you to take. They're opportunities for you to be a different person. The opportunities for you to try new skills, to take a different approach, to lead a team in a different way, to have a voice that you never had before. You have all these other opportunities which you'd find difficult to express if you stayed in your same environment all the time. So it says to become bitter or better, the choice is yours. How to turn pain into gain. So when it talks about a positive life stance, this is really a person's overall attitude, your overall expectations or assumptions of life. You will find that you'll talk to one person and their stance is quite negative across all areas, or they're pessimistic. And you'll find someone else who's just got a general positive stance in life, and that's about any topic, about money, about health, about the future, about relationships. And that, I have to tell you, can be developed. So if you are pessimistic or kind of see the glass half empty, I'm here to tell you, you can literally change your attitude. You just have to be intentional and work at it. And if you do, and you develop a positive mindset and a positive life stance, you change your whole experience of life, because your whole perception of your experience is completely different. And an opportunity to do that every time is when you have a problem situation or a painful situation, is to actually, I already used the word force, but I don't have another word right now, force yourself to look for the benefits, the opportunities, the learnings, and the gifts or the blessings in disguise in any particular situation that's painful for a person. And you know what? When you do that, you will always find something good. And if you struggle to get a list going, sit with a friend or someone else that cares about you and has a more positive mindset than you and say, what else could I learn from the situation for my benefit? And you'll find a whole lot of things pop. Also, to embrace the value of bad experiences. That's when you know that each one is an opportunity to learn. Also, to embrace and develop your creativity. Les Brown, who's a famous motivational speaker, he's the one who taught me this. He said, problems are an opportunity to become more creative. And when I heard that, I was kind of encouraged, because when I heard that at the time, I was actually facing a couple of problems, and I thought, right, it's to develop my creativity. I suppose it's true, because the more creative we can become in terms of the problem solving to fix this issue, whatever it is an opportunity. And when we start becoming more creative, we actually tend to like ourselves more and have a better feeling of self-worth or better self-confidence that, yeah, there's actually more ways to solve this than just being upset about it. The other one is to make good changes. Now, change could be a whole meaningful Monday on its own. Change is a loaded topic. For some people, it's the worst thing ever. For others, it's fantastic. It's like variety is the spice of life. It depends on an individual, and everyone's different. What I can tell you is there's only two kinds of ways you need to look at change if you want it to motivate you in the right direction. The one is the pain of self-discipline to actually grow, change as a person, step outside your comfort zone, do different things, be open to learning, put yourself out there. That's the one pain, that's self-discipline, versus the pain of regret. The pain of regret is the worst pain. You'll suffer that pain for years. Some people even suffer that for a lifetime. I can only speak for myself here. I don't know if anyone can relate to this. Some people will, some people it might be different. I worked in corporate for 20 years, and I desperately wanted to know what my life purpose was after my brother passed away. And when I came to find that thing, it was in training and speaking and coaching. I was terrified. I didn't know how I was going to make that leap and transition out to working for myself. How would I make enough money? How would I pay mortgages? I had investment properties. How would I make ends meet? I had all these limiting beliefs on what I couldn't do. But when I thought about the pain of regret, of never giving it a shot, and perhaps being 85 or 95 one day and thinking, shucks, Janine, you should have given that a shot when you were 45 and you had the energy. Or you should have given it a shot when you were 50 and you still had the experience and the energy and the time to do it. Or gosh, you should have done it when you're 55. You still had 10 to 15 good years left and you could have made the most of it. Or even done it when you're friggin' 60. Louise Hay found her life purpose at 61 and was at the height of her career at 80. And if I thought, if I'm going to ever look back on my life with regret, that will hurt the most. Stepping out of my comfort zone and giving it my best shot, yeah, I'm going to stumble and maybe make a lot of mistakes and fail. But you know what? At least I'll die trying to live my dream than to die with regret of never having given it a shot. And when I looked at it that way, for me it was a no-brainer. I had to follow my dream. One life, I'm going to either live it my best way, do the best I can. And you know what? When you have such a strong intention, things work out for you. They really do. You have faith, you develop yourself personally, you put yourself out there. And now I could not be more blessed. I have to tell you, the only way I can explain it is I live a life of freedom. I do what I want, when I want, how I want, and who I want, and I do what I truly love to do. And I wish the same for everybody. If there's anybody here on this Meaningful Monday who's struggling to transition from something to something else, please reach out to me one-on-one. I wish to help you because I know the value of living a life of happiness and freedom. And there's nothing worse than being in shackles or imprisoned or in what I call bondage. It's in bondage when you're in a place you don't want to be and you can't leave it. You hold the key to the own prison that you're in, but you don't even use it. You just stay in your bondage and you're unhappy. Don't let that be you. The next one is to take responsibility for yourself. That's a necessary requirement. No one can do it for you. You know, Les Brown always says, remind yourself when you've got a tough decision to make in life. 1, it's possible. 2, it's necessary. If you think about your life, your future, your happiness, it's necessary that you go for it. The third one is it's on you, which is taking responsibility for it. It's on you. It's on nobody else. It's on you. It's a you and you deal. 4th, it's hard. Yep, it's not easy. It's going to be hard. But the 5th one is it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And personal growth is worth it. And going through tough times with the right mindset and being open to change is worth it. So winners are learners. Making good changes or creating learnings out of a bad experience is what helps us. Whatever happens to us that's hard and difficult, my friends, I have to tell you, is hardly ever the end of the road. It's always just a speed bump in the road. It's never the end of the road. All defeat is temporary. If we can get that into our head, we won't be that afraid of change. No one has ever stayed at the bottom of the barrel their whole life. No, unless they choose to. If they quit, hide, or run away and put their head under a rock, that's a choice. But otherwise, if you're open to learning, that'll never be you. All defeat is temporary, and it's there to help and assist you learn something and become better for the future. So the law of pain, lead it. How to apply this law in your life? Well, ask and answer the following questions for yourself. How do you deal with pain? And when I say pain, it doesn't have to be sadness or pain, emotional heartache. I don't mean that. I'm talking about pain being a massive challenge in your life, a lot of stress, the feeling of managing a crisis, a feeling of being totally out of alignment with yourself. Can I tell you that's the biggest pain? Is when you are a person who has certain values and beliefs and a character of who you are, and you're in an environment that is not equal to you and your values and your character, that's pain. That's awful. And that environment is wrong for you. And it really is on us to find the courage to make the change, to bring ourselves back into alignment with ourselves. The next thing, when you deal with pain, do you avoid it at all costs? Let's be honest. Just be honest with yourself. I don't need any answers from anyone, and you don't have to share this with anyone, but for yourself, just be truly, brutally honest with yourself. Do you avoid pain at all costs? Because that will cause your life to be harder than ever. Or do you just endure it because you have to, and it's like, oh, I'll just get through this because I have to, but I really hate it? Is it that? Or actually, is it that you embrace pain, stay positive, and look for how you can learn from it? Each of those is so different to the other, but at the same time, each of those is a choice, and they're not easy. If you're a person who wants to avoid it, don't beat yourself up about it. It's the way you were conditioned. It comes from your childhood. You probably saw your parents doing that, and that's the only thing you could learn. And there's nothing wrong that you were that way today. What is wrong is that we don't change it and stay that way. There's nothing wrong with your conditioning where it comes from. That you can't be responsible for. But hell, you are responsible for changing it when it causes you difficulties, stress, and unhappiness. Then you do need to change it. And then, as I said, it's a you and you deal. And there's help everywhere. You just got to look for it and have the willingness and the intention to make that change. And then it says their life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Neil Donald Walsh said that, and you know what? Speaking for myself, when I first read that, it was years ago, I embraced that saying, and I decided to let that be the most of my life, is being at the edge of my comfort zone, because I realized that's where you're truly living, and that's where you're alive, and you experience life, and you learn, and you can look back in the bad times, you reflect on, and you love those stories. You talk about them around the barbecue with friends, because those tough times become the map of your life. Otherwise, what are you living? A life of caution and mediocrity? There's nothing to it. It's so bland, you cannot even taste it. That's why they say variety is the spice of life. Being open and to be living at the edge of your comfort zone is a way to experience a better life. And if you struggle with that in any way, shape, or form, make sure you get around people who do live like that, because that really helps. It makes it much easier when you're with people who are always growing into personal development. They're very encouraging. They will always lift someone who's having a tough time up, always. They're there to help. They never want to see someone else struggle. If you're around people who are living the mediocre life and you try and improve your life, can I tell you what they're going to do? They're going to criticize you, and they're going to talk you down, and they're going to make you feel stupid, because you advancing makes them feel inferior, and the only way they can feel more comfortable is to bring you down. So Les Brown always says, never let a person drag you down to their level or keep you down at their level. If there are people like that in your life, spend less time with them and be with them less frequently. If there are people that lift you up and encourage you to do more challenging things and personal growth, stick with them. Okay, here's a quote from John Maxwell. Facing difficulties is inevitable. That's so true. Learning from them, however, that's optional. That's why we say you can become bitter or better. When it comes to difficulties, Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, says, within every temporary defeat lies the seed of an equivalent advantage. Not a somewhat advantage, a little advantage, an equivalent advantage. And you have to believe this is true. Even the loss of my brother was a tragedy. It was really the saddest experience I've ever experienced in my life. Heartbreaking. Now, in hindsight and looking back, in every temporary defeat lies the seed of an equivalent advantage. I have to say it's true, because the blessing of my life today, pushing me out of my comfort zone to find my purpose, live my best life, is more than an equivalent advantage. I'm so grateful for the experience being a blessing. It was a blessing in disguise. As much as the sadness is there, and I still miss my brother, there's no doubt. But how it blessed my life and pushed me forward to where I am now, that I'm eternally grateful for. So there's a saying that says, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. If you think about that, that's not a really good place to be, because it means that your life as it is now is the best it'll ever be. And I'm sure no one sitting here wants their life to be this being the best it could ever be. So if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. If you want to arrive at a new destination, the only way is to take a new path. You must act differently, not think differently only. Yes, you've got to do that, but you must take action. You must take a different course of action, not just a different course of thoughts. Thoughts and knowledge is just potential. It's just potential improvement. It's not actually improvement. Action, taking action, that's improvement. Okay, so that's the law of pain. And just by the way, these two laws out of this book, I will be doing a mastermind on them starting in August, if anyone's interested. And what I just shared out of the law of pain is probably only half of what's in that chapter. So you can just tell the richness of the information and how it can literally change your viewpoint, your mindset, and hopefully positively your life. and the way you handle life, not just for the first year or two, for the rest of your life. Okay, so this is the second law, the law of the rubber band. So I just want to ask quickly while you're there, just I want everyone to come up. I'm going to unmute the microphones. Come up with one use for a rubber band. Everyone just shout out at the same time. You're all on unmute now. Just give me one use of a rubber band. Go on, guys. Don't be shy.
Hold together something.
To hold together something? Sure. What else? To what? Say again. Talk. Otherwise, type your answer in the chat box.
When I was younger, my dad used to use rubber bands to create a sort of engine, and it used to spin round, and we used to be able to paint with it. And I always remember him using rubber bands.
Did you say paint with it?
Yeah, so it was like a circle, and the engine, it was a tiny little engine, used to spin the circle around, and used to drop the paint. And it was the rubber band that kept everything together.
Wow, okay, that's amazing. That's a very unique use for it. Someone else says holding all my pens in place. Okay, so now we've got 3 already. Any more?
As a reminder to do something.
Great, as a reminder to do something. Great, yes. Any others?
For the children, sometimes they use them, to throw things, like
Yes.
a piece of bread or a piece of paper when they're
Yes.
playing.
Like a little weapon,
Yeah, exactly,
Yes,
like
yes.
a little weapon.
Okay, so there we have like 4 or 5 examples. Now tell me, what is the one common theme about all of those examples of using the rubber band? What do they all have in common?
Expanding it.
Say?
Expanding it.
Correct. Thank you. 100%. So the common theme is they only work when the rubber band is being stretched. So if you think about that as the analogy of the law of the rubber band that we have to stretch, this is the whole premise of this chapter. So it says growth stops when you lose the tension between where you are and where you could be. And the only way you lose tension between where you are and where you could be is basically when we want to settle for where we are and give up on improving our life. Let me just mute the mics. You can unmute your mics at any stage. So the question, if I were to ask you, do you want to grow? How would you personally respond? Okay, I believe that everyone would say, yes, I want to grow. The truth is, most of us, we avoid any form of pressure because nobody likes to feel uncomfortable. And we've kind of been conditioned in some way that, we use the term a comfortable life. We grow up with our parents talking about, this is the life, and they're sitting back on holiday on the beach, feet up, and, this comfort. So we kind of have this conditioning that comfort is a place to be desired or to strive for. Well, here's a new thought that I'd like to introduce you to. So here it goes. All living things grow, and that growth requires stretching. So when I said earlier that life begins at the end of your comfort zone, well, we only get where we want to get in life, we only arrive there by actually stretching. So we all do need to be stretched. Same as a rubber band, for any use it has, we need to be stretched. Otherwise, we don't actually make any change of improvement. If you think about exercise, if you only moved until you started to take faster breaths and then stopped, you probably wouldn't get any fitter and you wouldn't improve your health at all. So that's just an example. Now, why this is a challenge for many people is, listen to this statistic, it's very interesting. 42% of college graduates never read a book again after college. 42%. For me, that's astounding. I'm sure for you all guys, you're on this Meaningful Monday, you obviously joined for some personal growth and improvement. I'm almost sure none of you are that. If you are, I'd encourage you to pick up a book again and read. I know that people in my circle who are into personal growth are reading books all the time, and they're not fiction or stories, they're actually personal development books. But you think 42% of people Never reading another book helps us understand how this tension between where you are and where you could be just disappears when a person decides to settle where they are. And the thing is that too many people are willing to settle for average. And that's the scary part. So when it comes to the law of the rubber band, few people ever want to be stretched. I'm going to say avoid settling for the status quo. Just don't do it. Stretching is an inside job. It's what you do, it's an inside, how you think and how you make choices and how you decide to grow. You know, in As a Man Thinketh, James Allen says, a man cannot travel within and stand still without. Meaning, if you in your mind are feeling like you want a better life and visualizing a better life and having like daydreams about it or visions about it or a vision board or just that feeling that you want better and it's on your mind from time to time, there's no way your life will stay the same. You will get there. You will improve. Because inside, all those emotions and feelings are going to push you into making changes to get there bit by bit. Stretching always requires change. If you think of successful people in your life, highly successful people that you know, because it's easier to see their continuous behavior, you'll find them to be a bit restless. They never settle. They never kind of comfortable just being at the same place for too long. And that's actually why they are successful. So it does require continuous change. Stretching also sets you apart from others. If you stop stretching, I can honestly say the truth is you stop living. There's a saying that says many people die at 30 and only make it official at 85. You know, and that's very sad. And the reason is that they've stopped changing. They've stopped stretching. They've stopped stepping outside the comfort zone and are looking for comfort and security and are too overly cautious all the time. They've literally died inside. They're just marking time until they get old and, you know, croak. Stretching can become a lifestyle. Well, it should be a lifestyle. If you think of nature, does nature ever stop stretching? Never. A tree never says, oh, I'm going to grow this tall and then that's about it. I've now arrived. No, a tree keeps growing. A plant keeps growing. You know, they keep thriving because anything that stops basically deteriorates. Also, stretching gives you a shot at significance. Now, that's the difference between good and great. If I talk about significance, let me say it this way. John Maxwell says, success is all about me. Significance is all about others. And once you've tasted significance, success will never satisfy you again. So stretching gives you a shot at significance, meaning when you're stretching yourself and you growing, you are bound to be a positive influence on people around you. You are bound to become a role model for others and model behavior. And through that, you are literally growing other people, sometimes just by default, their observation of you. But if you really are stretching, you are pouring into other people and actually helping them grow and develop. So maybe you do that in your job, maybe you develop your team. When you do that and you're really concerned and focused on other people's success and you almost view it as your purpose for being around is to help them succeed, that's a life of significance. It could be something completely different to work. It could be you could have a conversation with a teenager who's depressed and is thinking about taking their own life. And you decide you will not stop talking to this person until you can talk them out of it and give them a glimpse of hope and something in their life to offer them to make them change their mind. And you save that person from taking that step. That's significance. So if we're willing to go out of our comfort zone, I love this term, you go from indifference to making a difference. Indifference is when you see people struggling around you and you turn a blind eye. As long as you're okay, people can struggle around you, turn a blind eye. That's indifference. To be significant, it means you actually notice that and you get out of your comfort zone and you walk over there and you ask how you can help a person. What is it that they're needing? Offer more kindness, offer more support. more generosity with your time. Invite them to an event or something that can help them. Share anything, resource which has helped you, and you actually make a difference in someone else's life. That's significant. And that's really, when life becomes totally meaningful, it's when you're doing something along those lines every day. So we must be willing to leave behind what's familiar, what's safe, and what's secure. And the only way to do that is to give up excuses, to take 100% responsibility, and to actually move forward. John Maxwell says this, and where he is at his life, he's now 73 years of age, and he's at the most important stage of his life in terms of changing countries, which will, through time, change the world, country by country, one at a time. He used to work with people before, and then companies, and then it was with developing leaders, and then he developed 8 million leaders over like 175 different countries around the world, and then he traveled to all countries one by one from 2004 till 2014, offering government in every country the opportunity to train the leaders for free. And he's now on his 4th country, so Guatemala, Paraguay, countries like that he did. But this was his now life sentence. I want to share it with you. He says, I want to make a difference, doing something that makes a difference, at a time that makes a difference, with people who make a difference. And, you know, anybody could adopt that for themselves, if you think about that and the difference that we could make. Here's Abraham Maslow. I love this quote. If you plan on being anything less than you're capable of being, you will probably be unhappy all the days of your life. Growth will make you happier, more fulfilled. Because why? Because you will know that you're developing more of your own potential. And your potential is unlimited. There is so much to who you can become. And the more you can become, the better your life experience is, the more you can be, do, and have. So never settle. Mediocrity is definitely not a worthy goal. And this rubber band is that stretch, that tension between where you are and where you could be. And growth literally stops when you lose that tension. And to have that tension, it's the awareness that, what do I really want? I clarify it, identify it, and make an absolute effort to get out your comfort zone and move towards getting or being or doing whatever it is that you really want. So it's continuously learning, continuously improving, continuously investing in yourself. And you know, I have to say, the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. The more you grow, you will improve every area of your life, from your financial status all the way to your health and relationships and spirituality. It all comes to your own investment. So I don't know what you do with your time and your money, but I know there's lots of people on this webinar tonight. I can't see all your faces. I see Alejandra, she's on my little block of faces. But a person like Alejandra is, there are few people, Alejandra, like yourself, always into personal growth, and I really commend you. And I think your life is testimony of the improvement that's, you know, year on year, improving. There are other people here who are Silver Method graduates or done masterminds with me. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be with me. As long as it's personal growth, you know your life becomes better and better over time. That's that saying I mentioned earlier, you cannot travel within and stand still without. If you do personal development and really improve as a person on the inside, there is no way your life will stay the same on the outside. No way. It's guaranteed to be better. That's why the only guarantee that tomorrow will be better is if you're growing today. So God's gift, whatever God is for you, maybe a different name, some universal infinite intelligence or source energy, whatever it may be. To me, I'm a person of faith. For me, it's God. But God's gift to us is our infinite potential. We have infinite potential. How we use that gift and develop it is honestly our appreciation of that gift. And that's our gift back to our Creator who gave that to us. If you're in the same place very long, honestly, it's time to stretch. And ask yourself, where do you need to stretch right now? Which area of your life do you need some stretch, that tension of the rubber band? Is it in your spirituality? Is it in your relationships? Maybe your significant relationship, or maybe it's broken relationships or ruined relationships that, you know, there's an opportunity to make yourself better by forgiveness, mending that. Maybe it's forgiveness with yourself even. What about having better relationships with people that you don't get along well with? To make an effort to be the one to change. You be the one to adapt to them. Not, well, if they don't change, we're never going to get on. How about, you know, what if I try to be the better person and add value? And what if doing that help that person have a better experience? And through that, they honestly say, if you want to like someone you dislike more, try this. It's so counterintuitive. Do an act of kindness. When you do that to someone that you dislike, you will automatically find your dislike reduces significantly, and for some reason you like them more. I don't know how that works, but it really does. Other areas of your life, is it career maybe, where you need to grow, change, stretch? Is it in your money or your time? Freedom of your time, freedom with your money? Is it in your health maybe? Do you need to stretch there? Just think about that for yourself. We all have an area of our life, probably more than one, where we could stretch and grow and improve. And not stretching just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's easy to be average. It takes a little something to be special. Why be around average? Listen to this definition of average. This comes out of the book. John Maxwell, really, I have to tell you, just to set you up for this, he dislikes average so much. When he talks about it on stage, it becomes a humorous, you just laugh and laugh because he makes such jokes about average. Anyway, this is, if he puts it this way, listen how bad it sounds. Average is the top of the bottom, or it's the best of the worst. Average is the bottom of the top and the worst of the best. Average is the run of the mill. It's mediocre. It's insignificant instead of being significant. A lazy person's cop-out. It's living by default. That's average. Taking up space with no purpose. He says that's average. Is to pass one's life away rather than live your life. That's terrible, you know. To be forgotten, what legacy will you leave? He says successful people, when they pass on, will be remembered for what they've achieved. Failures will be remembered for how hard they tried. He says, but the mediocre, they'll be forgotten. And that's actually very true. They won't have a legacy. They won't have left any legacy behind. So average is to commit the greatest crime one can against oneself and against one's creator. The benefits of stretching, well, few people will stretch. The status quo ultimately leads to destruction. We have to change, otherwise we're going backwards. And stretching always starts on the inside, who we become on the inside. So my advice is never settle for average. And just remember, it's very easy to fall in familiar patterns and habits, doing the same thing over and over with the same people all the time, getting the same results. If that sounds familiar, I urge you, break that habit and change your group, your environment, and how you spend your time. Because otherwise your life is not going to go forward. It'll probably only go backwards. You will only reach your potential if you have the courage to push yourself outside your comfort zone, and not just once, but on a continuous basis. It never quite ends. The road to success is like uphill all the way. You think, one more toll gate, and I can rest. And then you get there and you realize it ain't going to, you know, work anymore. You've got to do another uphill climb, and another uphill climb, can I rest? And it keeps going. That's life. But it does get better if we, you know, get comfortable being outside our comfort zone. The other interesting thing is that when you ask an audience of thousands of people, let's just call it an easy number, 100 people, who here has a dream about most of them put their hand up. Not all of them, some people don't. But most people put their hand up who has a dream. When you ask who is pursuing their dream, half the hands go up, 50%. When you ask the question, who's actually realizing or achieving their dream, do you know that, or actively working on it right now, only about 2 to 3% of hands go up. It's quite alarming, isn't it? All I can say is, if you're listening to this, you're probably in the 2 to 3%. You most likely are. And if you look at the world in general, you will notice that 98% of people are sheeple. They just follow the crowd and live the mediocre life. And 2% of people really think for themselves and take action to improve their life. Here's a great quote by James Allen. Your circumstances may be uncongenial, but they shall not long remain so. If you but perceive an ideal and strive to reach it, you cannot travel within and stand without. That's it. You just got to have an ideal and keep working towards it. So the benefit of stretching gives you a shot at significance. Stretching must be intentional all your life until the very end. And if you won't be better tomorrow than you were today, then what do you need tomorrow for? It's quite a scary quote, that. All right, so let's just do a quick review. We spoke about the law of pain. Basically, that's good management of bad experiences leads to great growth. We all have bad experiences, and they are unavoidable. We're all going to have them, but how we deal with them, it either makes us grow or it really just slows us down and takes us backwards, and life becomes harder and more painful. And then the law of the rubber band, growing to your full potential requires stretching and getting out your comfort zone. It's uncomfortable. And no one remembers average. No one remembers mediocre. To make a difference, you honestly must stretch yourself, and that's to live your best life. So the greatest stretching season of life come when we do what we have never done, push ourselves harder, and reach in a way that's uncomfortable to us. And that takes courage. But the good news is that it causes us to grow in ways that we thought were impossible. So for me, there's a quote I heard, and I absolutely love it. It says, I'd rather die of thirst than drink from the cup of mediocrity. Because if you die from thirst, it means that you are always thirsting for knowledge, thirsting for growth, thirsting for change, thirsting for improvement. And that keeps you active and changing. And yes, I would rather die of thirst than to drink from the cup of mediocrity. All right, my friends, was that valuable for anyone? Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Good, excellent. Let me just tell you what we have. Someone's writing a chat. Let me see. Oh, yes, Darlene. Thank you, Darlene. That Darlene, is that the same Darlene who was in the Silver Method this last 4 days with me? Thank you, Kartik. Thank you. Oh, Darlene, yes. Well done. I couldn't see your face. So just the Silver 4 days was great. All right. So the next time we have Meaningful Monday is the first Monday of August, the 3rd of August, and I'll be doing something on Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. Lots of value in there. That's the book. Now, let me just quickly do something. This is, come on. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure iPhone is, but thank you. This is actually, I'm going to just delete that quickly. That's the wrong book cover. So the next event that is a mastermind I'll be running starting in August. It's on this book, The Invaluable Laws of Growth. And if you think these 2 chapters were valuable, as I said, that's chapter 10 and chapter 8. There are 15 chapters. There's so much value in this book, and it is so well written and so well structured in terms of helping a person find a rhythm. Thank you, Shail. Thank you so much. To get growth. If anyone's interested, there's a mastermind on that. It will be across 8 weeks. We meet once a week. You can meet via Zoom or in person at my office in Concord. There's an early bird price that saves $100. It's only valid for the next 2 weeks. So if you want to join booking in the next 2 weeks, It's $3.99 for the 8-week mastermind. Otherwise, after the next 2 weeks, it's $4.99. And then for any mastermind graduates, so anyone here, like Alejandra, I can only see your face at the moment, who's a mastermind graduate, you can join the next mastermind at $3.59 at any time. That's the privilege of being like what I call one of my inner circle VIPs. Sorry, Alejandra, I keep using you as an example, but Alejandra has done Think and Grow Rich 1, Think and Grow Rich 2, Develop a Leader Within You, As a Man Thinketh, and it's wonderful. The more you stay in a rhythm of growth, your life does get better and better. So I encourage anyone, think about joining. I promise I'll give you a minimum of 10 times the value of the price of the mastermind. That's a guarantee. It'll be absolutely fantastic, and you're in a group of like-minded people. Nothing better than developing new relationships and being in a community of people who are encouraging and supportive of your growth. In terms of the Silver Method, I have a live class in September, 10 to 13, if anyone's interested. For those who are new, the Silver Method is a dynamic meditation 4-day program that basically works at the subconscious mind level. We go into meditation and then we do visualization, mental rehearsal with very simple structured techniques to help in any area of your life. And 2 days is spent only on intuition development. It's amazing. It's just a wonderful course. It changed my life completely 10 years ago. And that's why I train it today, just to share it with as many people as I can. I think it's the best personal development program in the world. And it's the oldest. It's the original program from 1966. There is a Silver Method online coming in August 20 to 23. It's only for people outside New South Wales. So if anyone's interested or knows anybody, or you're listening tonight or knows anybody who may want to do the Silver Method from Perth, Adelaide, Canberra, Brisbane, Darwin, wherever, Melbourne, then that is for them. So I'll put that up. I think it's been published already on Eventbrite and on my website. I just didn't put it in here, but I'm just letting you know. All right, what we do now is a quick guided meditation. So this meditation's got actually some questions at the end to help you. Grab a pen and paper and just make yourself as comfortable as you can. And I'll first take you on a relax from head to toe and visualize a tranquil scene with a beautiful waterfall. And once you've done that, I'll then ask you questions about what do you need to focus on for the month ahead, which is the month of July. What steps you need to take to get you closer to what you want to do or be or have. I'll ask you a question, what do you need to let go of? And is there anything else? And when you're in a deep, relaxed state, you'll get answers from your intuition or answers from a guided higher place. Different answers to what you'd get if you just did it now. So just relax, grab a pen and paper, and sit in a position that you do the least movement when you're writing these answers at the very end. I'll just put the video off at the moment. Okay. All right, so when we get to the end and you've got a pen and paper and you're writing the answers, my advice is there's no right or wrong. Do not analyze anything. Just write down your first impressions. You can reflect on it afterwards. Don't judge it, don't analyze it, just get it out and write it down. The goal at the moment is just to relax. There's nothing for you to do. Just relax your body and relax your mind. And I'll guide you. Just listen to my voice. So close your eyes. Find a comfortable position. Take a nice deep belly breath in your lower belly. And as you exhale, just allow all the tension in your body to release and float away. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, feel your body relaxing. Feel the tension leaving your scalp. Relax your scalp. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes and the tissues surrounding your eyes. Relax your cheeks. Relax your tongue and jaw. Relax your neck. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your shoulders, arms, and hands. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, feel the tension leaving your back, from your neck to the end of your spine, and relax. Relax your chest. Take a nice deep belly breath in, and as you exhale, relax your abdomen. Relax your hips and pelvic area. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet, all the way down to your toes. You are now experiencing a deep state of relaxation. Continue to breathe deeply, slowly, and rhythmically. You're now going to create in your mind your ideal place of relaxation. It can be real or imagined, somewhere you've been or somewhere you'd like to go, and allow it to be a place where you feel totally relaxed. Begin to experience this place right now. Now that you've created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of white light into the scene. Place it wherever you choose. The waterfall is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading white light. The light is a healing energy, a clearing energy. Your waterfall of light is now created. Walk over to the waterfall and stand under the white healing light. Allow the white light to swirl around you, flowing over you and encompassing you within its glow. This white light is clearing all the stress and tension and clutter of not just today, the last week, the last month, the past year. In fact, it's clearing the stress, tension, and clutter from your lifetime, from your entire energy field, your atmosphere or your aura. As this light clears your energy field, notice how much happier you look. Notice the smile on your face. See how all the weights that you've been carrying are no longer a burden. Notice how your energy field is expanding out as you are radiating love. This waterfall of light is always available to you whenever you need it. All you need to do is close your eyes, imagine your ideal place of relaxation, and immerse yourself in this healing white light. Now take a deep breath, relax deeper, and repeat these beneficial statements to yourself mentally. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Positive thoughts, suggestions, and images bring me benefits and advantages I desire. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. The following statements are for your better health. Keep in mind, from now on, I will be speaking in your place. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every cell, tissue, organ, and system of my body is revitalized, restored, and renewed, resulting in a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. I'm able to function in harmony physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to promote maximum benefits. My awareness in using my mind allows me to do activities that promote increased health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now imagine the white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. It surrounds you. It encompasses you. It flows through your entire being. It fills you with love. All those hurts you felt, all the pains you felt, the angry moments, allow this green light, this unconditional love, to heal all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance. And you deserve peace. It is now time to step out of the waterfall. Step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are centered and energized. You are able to think more clearly, focus more easily. You are in the flow of universal love and energy. Take a moment now to bask in this feeling of connectedness. You have now reset your body and mind for the month ahead. It is now time to set your intention for the month ahead. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. When you've reached the count of 1, you will have tuned in to your own inner wisdom, your own higher self, your intuition, the part of you that when you tuned in guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have now tuned in to your intuition, that part of you that guides you and knows what is best for you. Feel the alignment. Feel the connection. And now ask yourself the following question, and as an answer comes to you, just follow your first impressions and write it down. Don't judge it. Just write it down, then take a deep breath and go back into meditation with your eyes closed. The first question is, what do I need to focus on for the month of July? What do I need to focus on for the month ahead? Remember to write down your first impressions. The next question, what steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. Then take a deep breath, close your eyes, and re-enter your calm state. The next question is, what do I need to let go of? And now the last question is there anything else? Is there anything else I need to know or do? Is there anything else? And allow a deep breath and relax. Slowly bring your attention back into your body. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes and have a big stretch. Lots of blessings to you all. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Did you get any answers that were helpful? You can put it in the chat box, or you can unmute your microphone anytime. Anything you want to share? Thank you for tonight. Thank you, Darlene. Thank you so much. Let's unmute your mics. Anyone want to share? Did they get any answers? You don't have to share your answers. If you want to, you may. But just did you get any guidance or helpful insights from that few questions in a meditative state? Anything helpful? Yes, Anthony, thank you. Yes, Sam, thank you. I need to focus on me this month. Very good. Very good, Margot. I need to focus on me this month. And please trust that and follow that guidance. It's there for a reason. So don't dismiss it as, oh, just something came up. Yes, focus on you, 100%. I'm all for you. Thank you for another.
Like an order, you know, of things, you know, of areas that I have to pay attention.
Wow. So you got a few things.
Yes. And in a certain order for some reason.
Oh, wow. Well, as I say always, follow the guidance. You know that. Thank you, Margot. Thank you very much. I kept getting a message that I need to make connections with others. Might need to figure out more about this. Well, Vanessa, I'm here. If you want to reach out or have a phone chat, just let me know. I'm open to it. I don't know if you've got my contact details, but if you Google my name, you will find my contact details. Or my website will have it. Feel free to have a conversation if you just want to bounce ideas around, have a sounding board, and make connections. Just a thing to consider if you want to make connections. The masterminds not only are huge value for you or your learning and personal growth, and they will improve your life somehow, some way, they definitely will. It's also an opportunity to get to know quite well over 8 weeks a group of like-minded people, and I found that over time some of them have become friends in our groups and really help and support, encourage each other. So that's just an option for you. We are kind of a community and we keep getting new people in, yes, sure, but generally the community is there and it's growing, and it's a great way to be connected with people that are on the same path as you. I got that I need to focus on stability. I'm not sure that makes sense. Monkey mind. Well, my advice is, Kartik, go back into meditation in your own time, and when you're very deeply relaxed, just hold the question in your mind, what stability specifically do I need to focus on? And just be quiet, and as if you're trying to listen, and I promise you answers will come to you. The same way this answer came to you, more answers will come to you. You can do this at any time on your own and give that a shot. Kalyani, thank you, Jeline. Your voice is filled with positive energy and inspiration. Thank you, Kalyani. And you did get answers. Brilliant. Excellent. How many days ahead do I need to book in the Mind Method course? Kartik, if that's the online one or the one in September, if it's the one, either one, do you have my email address? I'll put it here. It's Janine at Janine. I'll make it easier. Janine. Okay, Janine at. You can write Janine at Janine, by the way, .com.au, or Janine at Janine Shaka International.com. Send me an email, Kartik, and your phone number so we can talk. The one in September. Yes, please book in. You can book in now, and you can tell me when you want to pay, but book your seat in. I also became really warm, as though the shower of light was real. Can I tell you, that's so awesome, Vanessa? And the warmth is also an indication that your blood vessels relaxed for the first time in a while, and blood flowed to that area, and it feels like a feeling of warmth. It's the circulation, and that's just an indication that you were holding a bit of tension and your blood vessels were constricted and your body needed to relax, and that's that blood flow gives you that warm feeling. So that's good for you.
I imagine the sort of the light was coming down on the left-hand side of my brain, and I could feel this like patch of warmth, and then it just slowly started to send my cheeks really hot now. I can really feel it.
Wow. But are you in Australia? I love your accent, by the way.
I'm in Australia, but I'm not Australian. I only arrived about 6 months ago. So everything that you spoke about is everything I'm going through in terms of pain and stretch. And
okay.
So this is really relevant to me. It was interesting.
Yeah, I just want to say when I said my worst time of my life 10 years ago, it was the first year and a half of my immigration. It wasn't the first 6 months that was quite fine. It was when I got a new job, new country, new city, new company, industry. It was hectic. So yeah, if you need any support, just reach out because it's very challenging.
Yeah, thank you.
I share your, I can empathize, put it that way. It's very challenging. The growth curve is steep.
Yeah.
Very steep. And it can take a lot out of you. You must take good care of yourself.
Thank you.
For sure. Thank you, Kartik. Thank you, Kalyani. Me too. Thank you. And from George. Thank you, Janine. Good night, everyone. Thank you, George. Anthony, thank you so much for joining. I hope it was good for you and helpful. And thanks, Shail. And thank you to all the participants. iPhone raised hand. Yes, iPhone.
Sorry, it's Betty. I'm mucking around here. My apologies.
That's okay, Betty. Go ahead.
No, all good. Thank you very much for another great session. No, it was great.
You're welcome,
Thank you.
Betty. You're welcome.
Take
Thank
care.
you so much. You too. Have a good night.
You too.
Ciao.
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 Well, thank you, Janine.
Thank you, Alejandra. Thank you for your participation and your presence. Thank you.
No, thank you very much for your positive comments about my participation.
Because I can only see 4 faces, and then the whole list of 17 people is hidden. I can't see it unless I scroll. So, you know, every time I was looking for an example to use, I saw your face. And because I know you so well, I just used you. Sam, is that Genti? Is that how you pronounce it?
Enough.
You're Italian, are you?
Australian.
Oh, Australian. But is the surname Italian?
Genti.
Yeah, it's Italian.
Yes, Italian. Oh, half Italian, half Sicilian.
Oh, very nice. Very good. Very good. Thank you, Margot. Thank you for a lovely session. Take care of yourself too. How did you come to hear of the Meaningful Monday, Sam?
Oh, I'm not sure. Facebook, or I searched this.
You're looking silver, yeah. We were looking up. Hi, Charmaine here.
Hi, Charmaine.
We looked up silver method because we did a course a long time ago, 30 years ago, and we were just seeing who was available still in Australia to do, you know, revisions or whatever. So yeah.
And where are you based? Are you in Sydney?
No, Townsville, North Queensland.
Okay, so you both silver graduates?
Yes, yeah, silver graduates.
Yes.
From the basic lecture series?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had,
30 years ago, we went through Mary Chapel.
Right. Okay, let me just stop the recording. Hold on 1 second.